Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Pilma. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today we have the privilege and the honor of having Kristi Hagen with Kristi Jane Agency. Welcome back, Kristi. It's good to have you back here.
Thanks for having me. I always love hanging out with you, Ken. It's
Yeah.
always great.
Yeah, I've been
I'm
looking
sorry I'm
forward.
not at Pilma with you.
Oh, that's okay. It's looking forward to this because you're always on the cutting edge of what's going down with SEO and different stuff and digital. So this is going to be fun. A lot of our masterminds use you, and they say nothing but good things about you. So, in this day, everything's gone crazy in the last couple of years. So we got a lot to talk about. And when we'll talk about road proof, we'll get to that. But first, your company does SEO. I mean, you got two different companies, but let's talk about the first one, the agency, the SEO agency or whatever, digital agency, whatever you want to call it. What are you seeing? I mean, I'm seeing some people saying, so I talk to different digital agencies, and some of them say, well, you got to really prepare for this AI, search with, Gemini and ChatGPT and Claude. And some of them say it only makes up, 1% of the searches right now. So that, don't really worry about it right yet because it's still kind of settling down. What's your take on this?
Well, I'm going to say 23 years of watching every single thing that everyone has done, Google, all that stuff. I am so used to hearing this is the biggest thing that ever happened, right? Right now, the search results, and this is what I said to you before. For the first time, I can say this is the biggest thing I've ever seen happen. And I'm not talking about just AI. I'm talking about just the algorithm shifts that have happened just in 2026. It has been a roller coaster ride since January 1. And typically when you have like what would be considered a core update, it lasts, a couple weeks, a month. It all mellows out 45 days, whatever it is. But right now, the rankings are all over the board. And so you could look and you're number 2 for truck accident attorney in your area, and then you're on page 2, like day to day to day to day. So when it comes to that side of it, how much things are shaking up, I'll be really interested to see where everybody lands. With the AI element, so my first thing is don't get stuck on the rankings. If you are chasing rankings with your tools and you're getting stressed out, stop. Check out your signed cases, because what I'm seeing, because that's all I care about, right? I don't care about rankings. I want signed cases. What results and cases coming to you? And so when you actually look at the signed cases, they're either holding steady, even if your rankings have dropped, or they're growing. Because with the AI element of search, yes, it's a small aspect of the search results right now. You need to pay attention to it. So don't ignore it. And then we can talk about some ways to make sure that you're prepared for it. But really, what's going to save this industry is that first and foremost, you're a local business. You are absolutely a local business. You are not a state, a cross-country situation. You're not Nike trying to sell shoes. You're not, you are a local business. People are going to look for somebody locally, and that is where you will win. So focus on local all day long, because at the end of the day, that's where your cases are coming from. They're not coming from the organic search results, which I can get a page ranking. And then you have people calling you from Hawaii. I have a client in Chicago. He's like, how are these people finding me? And it's like, well, they just read your blog post about this, and then they called you. That kind of search results and those kind of leads are being cannibalized by Google's AI and all the AIs. Because if you're grabbing in traffic about general topics that can be answered, it's good to be seen as a topical expert. So make sure that your firm is being quoted up there, but you're not going to get cases from that. What you're going to get cases are local search. But Google, the whole thing is an ecosystem. So you have to make sure you do good organically and are seen as a topical expert in order and you have good reviews and all the other stuff to make sure that that whole ecosystem is working out well. Good website, fast, great on mobile, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be scared of what's happening right now, but watch your cases. Are you signing more cases?
Yeah, and when you say local, I guess what you're talking about, you got your LSAs, and then you got your PPC, and then you got your maps, and I guess maps is what you're talking about, right? Or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. I mean, you don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of thing, right? Most of our basket or eggs in our basket are owned by Google platforms. It just is. You got LSA, you got pay-per-click, you've got Google Maps, right? And then you have organic search. That's before we talk about other platforms that we're getting into. You want to make sure that you are supporting all of those, and all of those, like I said, is an ecosystem. LSA is directly related to your maps, right? And then the maps, absolutely, they proved this a decade ago. That authority flow from your topical authority from your website also flows up there. And so that's part of it. So what I was going to say before, to prepare for AI, and you should be right now, and it's kind of a constant battle, is that you have to be seen as an authority on the topics where cases are coming in. So if you want all the truck accident cases, you have to be seen as an authority on truck accidents, your firm, all the attorneys in your firm. What does that look like? Right, content, be careful with that. But content, podcasts, coming in, talking about these things on podcasts, making sure that you're talking about, you have videos out on social media. So you're hitting like you're making tons of buzz around your firm, your brand, and truck accident cases, for example. So you have to get out there, and including just podcasts, one podcast a month. It's not hard. There's really great platforms. I'm dragging my charming lawyers onto podcasts every single month, and they do great. But I have a lot of times where they come to me or they're new and they say, we don't get any truck accident cases. And then I look around their stuff on their website, on their YouTube, on social, and they're not talking about it. They're not sharing their case results. They're not sharing testimonials where people say, I was in a terrible truck accident case. And so if you're not making a bunch of buzz and showing that you're an authority on that topic, Google's not going to pay attention. And neither are the AIs. So, I mean, it's fun. Go audit yourself. People used to Google themselves, right? 100 years ago, right? People don't really do that as much. Maybe it's less of a fad now because I've been in the industry so long, but go get on ChatGPT and ask them who you are. Ask them what your firm does. What does my firm specialize in? Share your name, just give them your website and whatever you want, and just see what it says, because it's eye-opening.
Yeah. And so this podcast that you're doing with your clients, what are they just talking, or are they interviewing somebody, or are they being interviewed by somebody?
They're being interviewed. I mean, my attorneys, come on. You think my attorneys have time to make their own podcast? Ken, you know how time consuming this is.
Yeah.
Chasing, you have to have a whole team going to find new people. So no, my none of mine are at the point in their career where they're ready to host a podcast. But they're guests on podcasts talking about and just a variety of podcasts. It doesn't always have to be legal. Most of them are we're always trying new technology, new AI in the law firm, integrating tech, doing everything that we can all the time so they can talk about that, bringing in new technology for their law firm. They can talk about leadership. They can talk about negotiation. There's tons of topics that aren't just legal specifically, I'm a legal expert in my state. So it's just getting them out there and talking. And then you put that podcast, you make sure that they mention you, on the podcast pages, wherever they're sitting, all of them. And then you add those podcast links to their profile pages and say, look, I'm an attorney. This is what I do. And these are all the times that I've been interviewed, because that is creating that loop. Also add it to things like LinkedIn, a very trusted platform.
I like that because I mean, I know podcasts. I mean, I'm a retired lawyer, but I mean, I think the podcast that we're doing right here is helping Pilma more than
Yes.
anything I've done marketing, because I'll get people that'll call and want to join. And we always ask them, how'd you hear about us? And probably 80% of them said, well, I've been listening to Ken for like 2 years. I mean, I'm just interviewing other people. I mean,
Yeah.
out of 350 podcasts, I've probably done 5 solos. But most it's just me asking people, but I still get, because I try to get good people like you on, and I ask really questions that's on their minds, because I know what's on their minds because I see them all the time and they're asking me.
Yeah.
So I know what to ask because I'm getting it asked to me, or I've seen it asked in the masterminds and people are discussing it. So I know
Yeah.
what.
And you always get to learn too. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a podcast host for years at Search Engine News, and I loved it because I got to interview the most interesting people and the people who are making money in their industry. And so they would just tell me all their secrets. It was awesome. So I totally get it. I loved it, the position
Yeah.
that's in.
Yeah.
So there's one other aspect of AI that I want to talk about really fast because it seems like it's all the buzz right now, and that is the directories, right? So I am a data geek. I love data. I think it's sacred. I will absolutely dig in and make sure all of the data is accurate. And so these directories, they're positioning themselves, they're marketing themselves cleverly as like the end all answer to being found on the LLMs, ChatGPT, Gemini, things like that. They're like, you have to have this. And there's some truth in that, right? You want to get into these directories. You want to make sure that your stuff is accurate. You want to claim your listings. You want to do all the things. But then what they're also doing is selling these really high, I'm talking huge contracts for a whole year. And they're saying, like, and these attorneys just want the answers. They're busy, they're being attorneys. And so they're like, do I need to spend $10,000 a month to be featured number one on these directories? And, I have talked to people who have spent that. I've dug into their data, we've tested it. And in my opinion, and the data sets I've seen, those big contracts do not result in a good enough ROI to justify the spend. And I've actually talked to the directories about this and said, you guys are overpriced. People are going to all jump on and then they're all going to go because you're not giving them a good return. And what I've also seen from this is these directories, after they sell these contracts, are desperately trying to bring in leads to justify the spend. And they're actually doing pay-per-click campaigns targeting law firms' brands. And so that when someone searches for your brand name, they're doing pay-per-click ads to target that. And so that they land in and it comes in through their directory instead of directly to your law firm.
Mm.
So be careful. And so this is my advice to everyone. Test, but watch the data. Make sure you're tracking it to make sure you can justify the spend.
Yeah.
And everybody who is doing pay-per-click, make sure you're doing a brand campaign for just a little bit, $10 a day, cheap. Because what the data you get from doing a brand level pay-per-click ad, it shows you who is targeting your brand. And so you can see the other law firms who may be accidentally targeting your brand in your area because you have to basically negative keyword out if you're going to. But it also shows you if these directories are targeting your brand. So I would
And
recommend that.
and that's why you want to, if you've got a good brand recognition in your market, you want to bid on your own name to keep
Yeah.
people. I mean, that's I guess a defensive move, but
It is. So the way that Google Ads works, you can do a brand campaign, it's literally $10 a day, and you can see who's literally targeting your brand keywords. And a lot of times, the way that Google Ads works is it does a kind of a broad match thing. And so Google just wants those impressions all over the place. And so they will bring in other law firm names into your campaign so you don't even know it unless you can see it and then you add it as a negative. So when you get that data from your own brand campaign, you get those firms that are targeting maybe accidentally your brand and you send them either them, give them a call. Hey, John, did you realize you guys are bidding on my brand? And it's a handshake thing. Most of the guys, you won't target each other aggressively. Or send them a cease and desist and ask them to stop and give them a list of the exact brand keywords that you're using. And then they will put that into their campaigns as a negative keywords because a lot of times Google just sticks them in there. So it's a really easy way to get people to not target your name because you should protect your brand. I mean, your brand is everything.
so I think, I mean, and like I've seen some lawyers, I got some lawyers that now I've always told them to write a little book, it ain't got to be a masterpiece, but like 40, 50 page book, just so that it'll give them some authority and give them a lead bag. I'm seeing lawyers now, they're doing it just because they want to be the authority. They think it'll help them on the AI search because that'll give them more like authority. I don't know. We,
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that you can do, I mean, really, you got to diversify all day long. That's what I'm saying about like just getting cases, right? If you want truck accident cases, do you have videos on YouTube? Do you have social media posts? Do you have Google posts talking about it? Do you have a product on your Google Maps listing that talks about it and is linking down to your page? Do you have blog posts on your website? Have you talked about it in an interview? Do you have a PDF book, maybe 25 pages? Who cares? Do you have testimonials on your website talking about it? I mean, you need to make sure that you're just checking all the boxes, and that's a big deal. So if you have a regular website, right, you haven't done SEO, you're not authoritatively competitive in your industry, and you're like, listen, I'm a boutique law firm. I want all the truck accident cases. I'm going to make a PDF. It won't work. You have to go for the cases. You have to understand your rankings in your industry and then target where you can and grow. and know that I'm probably not going to get all the truck accident cases. I'm going to make sure I have all the stuff about it. But you know what? E-bike is huge. Maybe e-bike is where I'm going to get kind of my milk and potatoes, meat and potatoes kind of cases. Where can I get the cases that my firm likes to fund the growth for the bigger stuff down the road? And understanding what you can be competitive for,
You know,
because some firms are never going to be the truck accident firm.
and I don't know how to do it, but I paid a guy probably 5 or 6, 7 years ago to get me on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I think it'll give me more authority. I don't know. I don't know. I ain't got any data to back it up. But what do you think about if could you get somebody, a lawyer
Yeah.
on Wikipedia, would that not raise?
Yes. I think that Wikipedia is another authority signal. Before you do that, build out your LinkedIn profile, please. You should have a law firm one. All of your attorneys should have one, and they should be linking from your profile on your website back to your LinkedIn because that is a very trusted platform for B2B. They know Google, all of the LLMs trust it. So do that first because that's easier. Wikipedia is amazing, but what happens is, I mean, you have to be worthy of a Wikipedia page.
Right.
You have had a legendary career. A lot of my law firms have attorneys that have also had huge cases, record-breaking moments, just huge things. If you have something that's newsworthy, that means that you should have a Wikipedia page, then yes, you can go out there and get them. I can get them for my law firms and anytime. What happens is you have to be able to monitor those Wikipedia pages long term because if you're not careful, you'll pay the money, you'll do the work, you'll put it up, and in 6 months it's gone. So what you have to do is make sure whoever put it up is able to monitor it at up to 2 years because then it sticks. But you have to build it out. And I'm not just saying ChatGPT, what should I put on my Wikipedia page? But you need to be newsworthy and you need to have, when I'm talking about these podcasts, references to news articles about your firm and different case results you've got, you need to make sure that you have tons of references about how you are a topical authority, an expert in your field. All the things you've done, profiles everywhere, because
I
that
think
is how you can keep that Wikipedia page.
I think what helped me was I'd written a lot of books on the
Yeah.
subject. You
Oh,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And I had speaking engagements and stuff like that. So I think that helped a lot. I think if you
It,
put it,
yeah. You've always gotten out there. You got behind your desk, you got out from behind your desk and you really pushed yourself out there to be a public figure and it paid off.
yeah,
Some people don't have the capacity for that. They say to me like, "Oh, I want to do social media." And you're like, "Okay, we can make sure that your brand has a really solid social media presence." But like, "Oh, I want TikTok." It's like, "Well, are you ready to get in front of the camera and do TikToks with your 19-year-old, intern that we brought from the college to be ridiculous?" Because our law firms are having a lot of luck with that. But you have to be willing to
hmm.
show up.
Could you, with now the way AI and the avatars and 11 labs on the voice and then these
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
could you just create an avatar for a lawyer that really doesn't like to get out there, you know?
Yes and no, because it depends on the platform. What are you doing? I mean, yeah, YouTube, we can do that kind of stuff, but if you like are trying to be out on without it like being spoofy on purpose, right? Because people get it. You're gonna have to kind of get out there because most of this stuff is like 15 seconds. You know what I mean? So, and then you also to be popular on a platform like TikTok, you've got to get like seriously hire an intern from the local college and they have the most, I'm not going to admit how old I am, but I'm like, you did what? And then it's like, it's got 5.4 million views. You're like, I don't get it. Well, because I don't have to get it. I'm not targeting myself on these things, but these firms are like, you're the TikTok lawyer. Like, I want to, like, your firm looks so awesome. I'd love to work with you guys, like all the comments, and they really are getting cases from this, but you really just got to be silly. But you want to make sure you're targeting the platform and the audience.
Right, right.
Yeah. So the
Right.
avatars aren't always going to work, not for stuff like that.
Okay. I'm just wondering. I'm just thinking because I saw there's an ad agency that does big time TV all over the country for a lot of very big time lawyers.
Yeah.
And they're starting to use avatars to actually cut their commercials so they don't have to go in and do them. They just bring them in one time, and spin them around, do all the stuff, and then take their voice, and then they'll just create commercials.
Yeah. And I mean, you have to, again, who's your audience? I mean, I see AI stuff and I'm like, that's AI because I look at it all the time. Kids, younger generation, they're going to see it, not kids, but I'm college people in their 20s, kids. It depends on who you're targeting. The older audience is like, no way. that's not AI, that's a person. So yeah, if you're doing broadcast TV, chances are you're talking to an older audience and it works. But it would
Well,
be fun to be spoofy with an AI avatar. Like to
yeah,
be, if you're going to target a younger audience, make it obvious that it's an AI and make it obvious that it's an avatar and make fun of yourself a little bit because I think that that would work really well.
I think you're
Yep.
right. So let's change channels. Let's go
Okay.
over to road proof. I know you started this several years ago. Can
Yeah.
you tell us what it is and how lawyers are using it?
Yes. Okay. So road proof is what do we do there? We archive traffic camera footage from across the country. And then how that works is attorneys log into our system. Either they fill out a form and let our search assist team look for accident footage, or they log into our system and using the details from whichever case that they got, an MVA case or anything, actually pedestrian, all the stuff. They look for the time, the date, and the location. They enter that into our system, and then they can see the traffic cameras in that exact area, and they can look for video footage of the car accident. And then that has been a game changer for so many ways. Negotiation, it's like who's at fault, all that stuff. You get to save so much time in litigation if you can just say, look, here it is. And then also on the other side, you can see if that case is worth you pursuing. For a fact, is there footage or not? Yes or no, as far as from the traffic cameras. No, there's not. Okay. Or yes, there is. What does it look like? So it really helps law firms make big decisions because video says everything. And this is video that's directly captured from the DOT cameras, untouched. We have had to, it's been brought to court, no problem at all. Yeah. And it's definitely helped law firms win really big cases.
Yeah. So I know when you started, you were in certain states. You were trying to get in all the states.
Yeah.
Have you kind of spread it out now? I know, like some states.
We're in 27 states right now and growing. I think we've had road proof. It started like a side project. Like, can we do this? Because we're very tech forward. I have a developed team that is here in the United States. It's a big part of my agency. We build all of our own stuff. And so it became like a problem we wanted to solve. So we started to dig into it, I think 4 years ago. And then our little side project got really big, which is always a good thing. I mean, I guess sort of. We got to be careful what we wish for. So the way we've been capturing cameras in the past and what we're doing today are different relationships, contracts, things like that. And so right now we've positioned in such a way to have a lot of growth. So right now we have 27 states with more coming on all the time. So it's been really, really fun overall. So we service personal injury, the insurance companies, large enterprise clients that don't really have any relevance, and then we give the platform free to law enforcement, state level law enforcement. So that has helped to open up a lot of opportunities for us. We've got over 1,000 law enforcement personnel on our platform all the time. So it's been helping solve cases. It's been really, really incredible in that aspect of it. It also opens more opportunities to get more cameras as well. So, but with the personal injury side, there's some marketing campaigns. You can't take the marketer out of me no matter what. It's always like, how do we leverage this to get cases? And so we tried to go big in the past, but more recently, I think we've got like 2 years or something, we've been doing smaller, very targeted social media campaigns that are bringing in incredible leads. So we're keeping the price really low, and then managing these social media campaigns for law firms targeting in their area. California, we've got quite a few clients, Texas, Washington. I could name them, but so that aspect of it as well. But then there's one more thing I was talking to you about earlier, Ken, that came as a bit of a surprise, which is odd since I'm a marketer, is that we've been getting a lot of just organic leads from individuals who are finding us on Google because we're the only platform that does this. And they are saying, hey, I was in this car accident. Can I find footage? And we don't share footage with individuals. So we've set up a form that basically says, like, if you're an individual, are you working with an attorney? If they say yes, then we say, refer your attorney to us. If they say no, then we capture the rest of their information. Were you injured? Were the police called? Were you ticketed? What happened? Where did it happen? That kind of stuff. And then permission, of course, to refer them to a licensed attorney in their state, because for privacy and security reasons, we do not share the platform with individuals. And so that has turned into a kind of an accidental lead generation thing for clients. Right now, we're just handing out the leads for free to anybody either associated with me on the agency side or already has campaigns going with the roadproof side, or it's just big clients in the state for roadproof. And eventually it'll turn into we're just targeting them now, actually organically optimizing for these leads just now. So they should by the end of the year it should be a solid lead gen platform for firms.
Okay. So as we get ready to close out, anything that our listeners or viewers should know that's right on the horizon? I mean, what do you see the next 6, 12 months? Anything that they should be worried about or encouraged about in the digital
Yeah.
world?
Well, yeah. If you're worried about AI, and you should be, are you an authority in your area for your topics? Talk to your marketing agency and figure out how do I get myself out there as an authority? What are your ideas? I would put yourself into ChatGPT, ask it basically what does my law firm do? Also, one of the things that we've noticed that I don't think I mentioned is that when you're in there in these platforms and you're asking the AI about your firm, ask it how many reviews you have. We all know that reviews are really critical to getting cases. And so a lot of these widgets and other things on your website, the AIs are unable to read them properly. And so there's some tricks that you've got to do to make sure that your reviews are showing up on your website. Get onto ChatGPT, ask it that. How many reviews does my firm have? And just put your domain in there, your .com. Don't invest too heavily in directories right now, and if you are, awesome. Track your data because I do see cases coming in. You just have to make sure it's worth the return on investment. So, yeah, I think getting out there doing podcasts and stuff for the AI side of it. And with the way that the results, and this is probably for marketing agencies and people doing optimization, for as crazy as the search results are now, don't do anything drastic until they calm down because right now doing anything reactionary, a lot of times you don't know if it worked because maybe you would have landed there when it all calmed down anyway. Really test and be very careful with any changes that you make.
Good
It's
advice.
crazy out there right now.
So you're just seeing a lot of different algorithms. I mean, it is,
I have never seen the algorithm this chaotic for this long. But again, this is what I say. And I'm one of those firms, I'm an odd one, right? I start out as a teacher, an analyst. I came from just a different, very almost traditional background, right? Of watching the actual algorithms and understanding how people are making money online. That's all I cared about. And so my reporting with pretty calendar orthodox. I don't show ranking reports. I don't do all of that stuff because what I do is say, okay, how many cases are you signing? Where are we at? Where are they coming from? Are you tracking all the different sources properly? Do we know this many came from LSA? Do we know this many came from whatever? And so if you get stuck in the rankings, you miss the bigger picture for your law firm, and that is how many cases are you signing? I don't care what ranking you are.
that's all I ever cared about.
Right. And if you can't look at your data and say that's where you need to focus on. Is your
Yeah.
data, because I have people say, oh, my cases are down. And it's like we dig into it and it's like, okay, LSA is down. Why is LSA down? But you should be getting cases from all of your diverse marketing. If you're spending money on SEO, if you're spending money on LSA, pay-per-click, directories, branding, TV commercials, all the way across the board, you should be able to see cases coming in from those and tracking those.
I'm hearing a lot of lawyers saying that they're just giving up on PPC. It just doesn't work anymore. I mean, they're just throwing that money over to LSAs, and they might be doing a very small budget to protect their name, their
They
brand.
should.
But other than that, they're just said, I give up on it. It just got crazy.
Yeah, it is really hard for the pay per click. So you have to have, because what happens is you get these, and I'm not targeting any agency saying this, to be successful at pay per click, you have to touch it almost every day. So you have to have somebody who really knows what they're doing and doesn't let the system take over. You have to have somebody who's in there changing, adding the negatives, and basically working on these campaigns. It's very time consuming. And when you have marketing agencies, you get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you are trying to scale a system that can't be scaled, which is why my agency has always been very small. I go against it. I don't want to have a giant agency. I only take one client per state. And because to do it right these days, it takes a team really touching all of your stuff all day long, every day. So yeah, pay per click could just be an endless well that you're dumping money into and getting no cases.
So if I'm gonna ask you another question. So if I wanted to like hire somebody, say overseas, like in the Philippines or in
Yeah.
Pakistan or whatever, India just to work on my PPC, what kind of person would I be looking for? They could just sit there because you can get those for $1,000, $1,500 a month.
So I would, no, I'm not, no, no, don't do it. What I'm seeing, campaigns that I've seen are successful are people who've been in the industry as long as me. They
Really?
know what they're looking for, or they've been mentored by somebody who's been in the industry as long as me. Because you can't, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain exactly what's working, what's not, coming from experience and all that stuff. And then where did they learn how to do it? Are they just YouTubing and how do I do pay-per-click? You know what I mean? So you need somebody who's got at least a decade of experience in pay-per-click. And the number one thing, which is why did I get so involved in this industry? But personal injury is the most competitive industry in the country, and it breaks every rule of a marketer. You're not selling t-shirts. It is the weirdest thing. And so when I start working with somebody and they are an expert in their field, whatever it is, on the marketing side, and I say, okay, what have you ever done personal injury? And they say no. And then I'm like, I'm out. I'm like, you don't understand, because I had 18 years of marketing experience helping people make money. You know this. You knew me from my beginner days. And then I immediately, when I launched my agency, I had personal injury firms. And you know what? Bless them, because I screwed up for at least the first 6 months. But then I was like, okay, this is totally different. User behavior is different. You guys don't have personas in, you do a little bit, but you don't know exactly the age, race, anything of these male, female.
Yeah, Rex happened to everybody.
It's insane. Anybody who drives in a car, like, that's not true. Anybody who rides in a car, that's not true. Anybody who gets on a bicycle, every human on the planet, perhaps. And so it's weird, but it's fun. And I love to learn every single day, which is why probably I punish myself by being so invested in personal injury. But, it works for my clients. We do good.
Cool deal. Cool deal. Well, thank you so much. People want to get up with you if you're not doing work in their state, or they want to ask about Road Proof. How's the best way to get up with you, Kristi?
Well, KristiJane.com. You can reach out to me anytime. That's Kristi, and then Jane. Obviously, that's an easy one. .com. That's me. And then with the Road Proof stuff, I think everybody who has MBA cases should absolutely do it. The memberships start at $29 a month. Like, come on. Because if you can enter that stuff in and just know if maybe you have a fatality case, you've got catastrophic injuries, just knowing if there's video or not is incredible. And that form that you fill out to do that shows you the active cameras. So you put in your location and it's an interactive map, and those shows you exactly where the cameras were. And you can make an educated choice saying, yep, this looks like it was right on a camera. I want to do this search. It's just a tool that you should not be without. For that price, I mean, come on. Fancy Starbucks coffee moments with your, with your partner, or what, or know if you have a video. Yeah. So it's become indispensable to law firms who are using it.
Good deal.
So yeah.
Well, thank you, and hope to see you soon.
Yeah, no problem. Well, and they can always just talk to you, Ken. You're always, if they want to talk to me, just say, hey, I want to hang out with Kristi and see what she's got to say about my market. So absolutely. You and I talk plenty. So.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And,
thank you.
See you soon.
Yep, you will.
Next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success. Thank you.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.